Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello to our global audience. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is Coexistence and Sustainability with Pet Psychic Amina. Let's welcome her into the building. Hello. Yay. I can see you backstage. I don't see you on the screen.
Wow.
I know, we just see a black box.
We're trying to multitask too many things, I think.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll just give a little bit of background until I see you're back on the stage. So our show today is about coexistence and sustainability. What does that mean? This picture you're looking at is a graphic that has recycled glass, and we're looking up into nature. So it's basically how we as humans can coexist with all of the other creatures in this world, big and small, and how we can do our part to care for Mother Earth and Father Universe for decades and generations after us. So Pet Psychic Amina is the star of our show, and you might be thinking to yourself, what does a pet psychic have to do with coexistence and sustainability? Well, everything, because Pet Psychic Amina is a person, she's a human being, and we've spent a lot of time labeling people for their jobs, their roles, but we are humans and we exist to bring value and to offer compassion and empathy to the world. And that's what Pet Psychic Amina is all about. Let's welcome her. Hi. Hello. I wasn't sure if you were back there or not.
Yeah, it keeps telling me you are backstage. You are backstage. It's like, okay, I will stop logging in. Then that 9 of me, gosh, one's bad enough.
One of you is great. We love one of you. We love all of you. It's our 120th episode today. So I'd love to have you speak a little bit about what I was just sharing with people. You might not have heard when you're backstage, but people label us by what we do. So you're a pet psychic, but you're so much more than that. I'm a television host, but I'm also so much more than that. Yet people get caught up in the labels. What do you want to share with them?
Yeah, everybody can, I believe, really understand what we're talking about. There's so many women that have dropped the misses in this generation. And so many men have dropped needing to be called Mr. So-and-so. We have all trying to find, those are of us doing this type of work where we want to reach out to people as their equal, as their mentor, as their coach, whatever we can and support means we want to come in at the same level. We want to come in and say, you'll understand the road I walked on because I bet you have also. As coaches, you and I both know we are coaching people into better life, into ideas that maybe haven't occurred to them. That coexistence might sound scary or too big to take on the world with, but what we're here to say is bite size. Let's do it a little at a time, one step at a time. Master that step. The step will be under you for the rest of your life, whatever that step is. For me is for you to understand first and foremost that nature and animals have the right and the ability to love and care for their young and be here the same as we are. We need to love each other. All of us, man, spider, wolf, dog, cat, whatever it is that you're having a struggle with coexisting, because we all have faced that. Is it the neighbor? Is it the way your coach treats you, the way a teacher treats you? Whatever it is, we all need to step back and say, okay, how do I get to an understanding of where they're coming from so that we can have a constructive conversation of healing, working forward?
I love that you shared. And something I want to just bring to everyone's attention, at least here in the United States, I don't know state to state, but many of us in many states are being affected by the wildfires in
Mhm.
Canada. And of course, in California, you've had your own share of wildfires.
Right.
And it kind of, to me, it brings us all together that we're going through this experience collectively, and people get it. They go,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, there's smoke, there's air pollution. But if there's not some crisis, then people are not paying attention for the most part. We've got a pandemic. Oh, okay, we see it. The pandemic's over. Okay, let's go back to doing what we we're doing before. Have you felt that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are so many people that don't understand, well, but I want that. But I've waited 10 years to do this, or whatever that is, which you now know is no longer good for the earth, good for yourself, good for being there. We still are. I hate to say this, and I'm a part of this. I'm not accusing everybody. I'm just saying realize where we become really self-centered, really self-important, and we forget that we're on a planet with billions of other lives and animals and plants and trees. Global warming is the result of us living for ourselves and what our wants and needs are, and not living for the greater good. And we can do it happily together, and we all survive. But first and foremost, you got to make everybody more as important as you are to yourself.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that what really comes through for me is that many times we want what's easy. We want
Hmm.
what's in front of us, and we make excuses. You know what? I deserve this because I'm working hard over here.
Right.
And that's not my problem. I'm only here for this amount of time. The people after me, they'll figure it out. It's almost like when I used to go to the movies in a movie theater a long time ago, and people would just literally leave their trash right there in their
Yeah.
seats or on the floor, like,
Yeah.
oh, somebody's being paid, they'll pick it up. No, you pick it up.
Right.
You do something with it. It starts with you. It starts with me. And we get it. And we admit that it's an everyday learning process. But some people are just not open to it.
Right. And what I recommend is what you and I are doing right now in this moment, and every week and every day for you. And I hope for myself and everybody I see, is to say, why are you picking up that gum wrapper? It's not yours. I get told this by my family all the time. Quit picking up trash. And I was like, but it's here. And I can take it and wash my hands at this, right after I'm done and all this. And it doesn't take a skin of energy off my nose, back, whatever that slang is. I can't remember. That it's that simple. First of all, I'd like to encourage the person not to throw the wrapper on the ground. It's not biodegradable. Gum specifically and hard rock candy, believe it or not, will live through the ice age. I'm not making this up. Go check Google. I promise. Gum, literally, they tested this. Some scientist somewhere stuck a wad of gum, and they came back 5 years, they came back 10 years, they came back 30, 40 years later. It was still there. Exactly the way the person had chewed it up and put it there. So we have data now to say what we impact will last forever. There's no longer a lifetime. It will last forever. We need to breathe. Humanity puts out carbon dioxide, breathes in oxygen, all of this. Guess where we get it? Look at those trees behind me in the picture. Why this is so, so vital to have healthy plants, healthy trees to help us clean the air. But if we keep burning coal and we keep running cars with no tailpipe working, I know the Department of Motor Vehicles in the United States is doing their best to get people regulated and out of those cars, but we can't catch everybody. I'm hoping that we can catch a few of you with logic and understanding that the repercussions are not to somebody else. Oh, my neighbor will take care of that. Oh, that's the next generation's problem. No, it's here. It's now. It's all of us.
Da da da! I love that. That's fantastic. So, our title today is Coexistence in Our Communities. And I picked this topic because community can mean one thing to one person and something can completely different. Our community could be in our home, it could be in our town, in our city, it could be on our team, it could be in our office. Wherever it is, we can start there with coexistence. We can start there with trying to understand the other person's perspective. So once we start in a small group, we can grow and grow. What are your thoughts?
Well, and the glory of this plan is it gets easier. As you practice, let's say you decide to learn tennis. You decide to learn how to play tennis. Well, if you don't know the lines on the court and what they mean, and if you don't know, tennis courts have lines, lots and lots and lots of lines, and they all mean something different, where you need to stand, where the points matter. So just like a sport, any sport, you need to read up, you need to exercise, you need to get in shape mentally or physically or both. This is the same. Read about the topic, watch people that you find credible. Make sure the credible people actually have somebody behind them saying, no, this is true. No, this is real. Because there's plenty of people out there making it up as they go, and you want to make sure you vet those credentials, whatever that is. And you can do that on the internet anywhere. I really take into consideration people who have bad reviews. Now, do I take it as God's law? Never, never. I have had bad reviews. I don't know if JACALYN, you've had bad reviews. People, we can't please everybody. It's just not possible. So remember, people you're going to study and follow. Look at the science. Look at what they're telling you. Does it sound doable? Does it sound workable? Do other people in the industry that you're talking about also support them? But get out there and find that information. In this day and age, it's a Google search. Maybe you don't know the right words to look up. That's when you go to anything from social media to LinkedIn to just, there's a million search places you can go besides just Google or Yahoo or any of these engines that sort of have search engines, and put in all kinds of fun words and see what comes up. You'd be surprised. Some of the silly things that are out there, but it'll make you laugh and make you smile and hopefully move you in the right direction of people who say that they are professionals in whatever the topic you're looking for. Get backup, find clients that have been with them. And everybody doesn't fit everybody. I am not the pet trainer, pet psychic, or any kind of help with your animals, with your family, for everybody. That's just not possible. But I am for the right ones. And they're the ones that find me. And those are the ones that we work out and really make a change in their lives because we spoke similar languages to work on that issue. You need to find that in the education you're going to get. Make sure it's reliable. Go to sources like National Geographic. Go to sources that have been around for thousands and hundreds of years, it feels like, and have reputable news articles to follow.
Thank you so much. That's great direction. I wanted to add something else in, which when we think about coexistence, I've been thinking a lot about having a spiritual show. I don't want to say religious, but spiritual. And I was thinking about when we had Reverend Stoddy and Corky on here and the church that they've built that really welcomes everyone, regardless of who or what they believe in. And that to me was such a powerful sign of people making an effort to facilitate change. And so I just want to honor them. And if you could talk a little bit about, what would you say? It's not a church. What is it?
No, it is under the church banner, tax wise, and everything else. So it's considered a church is no longer what we were growing up as children, is a Christian entity. A synagogue, of course, you've got that. You've got a mosque. You've got all different names for this. But church in the United States, there are so many churches now that worship the way they choose. The Center for Creative Living is the name of the organization, the church that we're talking about. They have been around for very, very many years, and they have places all over the country. From what I understand, they're not just in California. And the idea is spiritualism. So for this church specifically, it's spiritualism. They do not care if you, because I identify as Muslim. So I can go here because they don't just identify, oh, we're just a Christian church and they're going to convert me, or they're a Jewish organization and they're going to do this. No, it is free and welcome to everybody. And that's how they built it, was to acknowledge. And so all the religions, so every time there's like a holiday, like Ramadan is the month of fasting for Muslims, and they either have me talk or they have an event about it. And they do this for all of them in this type of church that is open to all fields. So when they have speakers, of course, they talk about all these different things, but they're really talking about is the same thing we talk about here. Is we're not just talking about, what do I do as a pet psychic? We rarely talk about readings I've had and things I've heard from the pets. It does squeak in there. But what you and I are passionate about is not only loving animals, loving nature, coexisting with all of it. And that's how this show has grown and just really blossomed. So the Center for Creative Living is that same wide birth of information. They have speakers from all over the world, all nationalities, and it's now online as well as in person, so that people can worship any way they choose. This is what we're talking about with caring for animals. I can give you tips as a trainer. I can give you tips as what a dog does or doesn't do, or likes or doesn't like. And I mean a dog breed, meaning a dog that the God created or is naturally that way, and then give you tips from that way going forward. They do the same thing with spirituality.
It's phenomenal. It really is. Was there some kind of discourse or pushback when they first started out in the community, where people going, oh no, or was it really?
No, I don't think so. Sorry, I interrupted your question.
No, it's okay.
So no, I've never heard anything about it. Of course, I wouldn't have been living in this area at that time. I'm sure I could ask, but I can't imagine that happened because they were part of a bigger national church, which puts in every state, in every place, they have these types of very, what's the right word? Very designed for the neighborhood and the audience that they are going to after. And of course, the pastors do make a difference. What's really, really great right now, they have a ministerial program where you can become a minister. There's tons of benefits to that besides being able to go into hospitals and help people and end of life, whatever the person's decision to go to ministerial school. But they're truly no denominational. It's not geared on the Bible. It's not geared on the Torah. It's very geared, from what I understand, I've never taken the course, on that spirituality and the choice that everybody has. So you come to these people or to these churches to still get somebody to come to your bedside, maybe when you're passing or you're very ill, or you have somebody to talk to and help you with directions if you're having difficulties in your marriage or family life. All of the same things you typically see in a minister, you're going to see in these people that take a spiritual ministry without the title of Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, Mormon, whatever that is. They are the same compassion. The people who takes these courses have the same compassion, knowledge, and really a drive to help and to be of service of whatever way you come to spirituality.
I absolutely love this, Amina, because I have always wanted to take one of those courses. Seriously, I looked into it, and some of them required you to travel, or it was extensive amount of hours. And I thought, I can't do this, but that's something I always wanted to do, because that's another way to be of service, to your point, and to give back. And I also think there's, for you and I who are here, we're broadcasting every week our 120th episode. There is a little bit of showmanship in it as well. There has to be a certain amount of confidence,
yes,
that you can get on a stage, that you can motivate people and inspire people. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think that that's the point. The point is, most people, and I have to say most because I haven't met them all, get into public speaking on any platform, in any way, if it's YouTube or video, whatever way you do, or your Sunday services, or you gather your very large family around and say, I'm going to do a speech, whatever that is because you have a passion for a topic, a message, a lifting up of others. And those messages come out with you standing in front of them and saying, I have something to share. I have something I want you to know. I was really, really fortunate to be a fifth child of a mother and father who were teachers. So my mom, of course, put us in 4-H. If you don't know what that is, please look it up in your state. They still exist. And it used to be more animal driven. It is just as equally public speaking driven. And I had to compete in that since I was 9, doing public speaking. That was the type of programs we were in. Now, but I've talked about a lot with my mom. She was publicly speaking constantly. My dad was a teacher. He stood in front of high school kids for 40 years. So I come from speakers, and all of my siblings, all 5 of us speak in some way. 2 of them are teachers full time. So these are the gifts, whatever and why ever you want to do it. There are so many ways. You can go to Meetup and try those groups and see if you can join. You can go to Toastmasters. There's so many places you can learn your voice. What do you have to say? How do you say it? The biggest thing to walk away that everybody talked about, I don't know if they did this with you, Dr. Jacalyn, when you were in school or ever, it's like, no ums. Don't use the ums. It's a filler. It's a filler. And you want to get past that. When you don't know what you want to say next, take a break, take a deep breath, think about it. And it could be that dramatic pause in your lecture. But we all make corrections. We all misspell or missay something. And I know, Dr. Jacalyn, you and I just laugh it off and move on, because there's the bigger story or the bigger topic that we are trying to get. But there's so many avenues today outside of college that you can get involved with, like all the clubs I just mentioned, that you can practice and really hone your speaking skills.
Absolutely. And Amina, we also have 3 team members who are either distinguished Toastmasters, Red O'Laughlin, Hyatt Ives, and Maria Eduardo. So I know that they speak very highly about the program. So please do look into any of those resources that Amina just mentioned. So I want to go on to a different topic, which is this graphic that we have behind us. And I mentioned this is recycled material for this building. And then the building, we see the nature and the sunlight coming through with the tree. So when we think about building communities in a sustainable way, what comes to mind for you?
How Can you plan whatever you're doing, cooking a meal, building a house, fixing your car, buying your car, new, used, whatever you're doing? What I'd like everybody to think about is, what is the impact on the purchase you're going to make? If you buy a car that is, I don't know, 60 years old, I don't know, do they have cars then? Or buggy and carriage, probably not a good idea, all the poop on the ground. When you purchase anything, I really want you to think, is it necessary for me to get an entire case of water bottles with individual water? Sometimes the answer is absolutely. I'm going to a public thing. I'm supposed to bring water. This is the most sanitary way to do it. Also, ask everybody to bring a water bottle, and you bring a jug of water, so that we are limiting the trash we are creating. And that is all of our responsibilities, to do the best we can. And there's always something different you can do. So do we all do it? Hopefully. It has to be, of course, in a doable, sustainable way. And there's more sustainability than people, I think, give themselves credit for than what you think it is. Let's say you buy something, it's a dry dish, something, I don't know, cereal, something, and you don't like it. It's possible to donate food that hasn't been opened to the shelters. We had canned goods that I didn't even know we had still when we moved. And there's nothing wrong with canned goods. So I made sure, knowing that we would never use these because of the lifestyle changes we were making, I made sure we donated every single thing we could that was good, healthy. We had pasta that was perfectly fine. We just never had gotten around to it. There was nothing wrong with it. It hadn't expired. There were no bugs. So think about, when you move to make changes, or when you redo your house making changes, what kind of contractor are you getting? Are they recycling as much of the demolition as possible? That's a question you should ask. So we can all make changes. We can all choose reusable items. Now, when we get water bottles, sometimes we have to travel and we have to buy more and the water with them. We recycle all those bottles. Or what we've done on a couple trips is fill them all up with water, and the car always has water bottles with water in them. And I can't tell you how many times that saved us when we were in a place where, oh, we'll get it. No, they ran out, or we didn't see the station stop or something. Having backup things as good as necessary, I've used that right word, necessary, as water, is simple to keep in your car. It's really that easy to keep in your car, just a water bottle or two, and it could save your life if, God forbid, you had a car accident or something and you were stranded for a while. Think about how you can coexist. I need everybody to hear this. We as humans must think first about how to coexist. Not the first thing be is, what can I get out of this for me? That's my encouragement. What can I do to coexist? Whole planet, my next door neighbors, whatever that is, the barking dog next door. How do you coexist instead of me, myself, and I?
Thank you so much, Amina. I want to just talk about something else, and I really feel a calling that we should have some experts come and join us on our show. I've wondered for a long time about the recycling process. And part of the reason is, I had a friend who was in a different industry and had a number of trucks, and the trucks were also used for recycling, and was told by this person that that even though they pick it up in these trucks, it all ends up going to the same place. So where I'm going with this is, spending part of the year in Florida and part of the year in New Jersey, there's different rules for recycling. So in Florida, there's separate bins for all the different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, everything goes into the same thing. So what I've tried to figure out, and I don't know this information, and I'm sure it's different depending on where you live in the world. If everything goes into the truck, we've got glass, we've got plastic, we've got paper, we've got cardboard, whatever we have, and it all goes to a facility. Is Bobby and Susie, are they sitting there going, oh, glass here, paper there? I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very effective process. What is that process?
Well, what I've seen is for the places that are sorting, and this is what the process is, they dump the whole trash and they have what's called sorting machines. And they go by weight a lot of the time. So aluminum's going to be this weight, glass is going to be this weight, paper is going to be this weight. And what these sorting machines, and they're getting better. They're getting better. I haven't looked up on the latest one, but what they do is they have these little gates. And so let's say they have a ton of aluminum cans coming. They open the door for that, but all the rest gets held back. So they're going off of their, smart machines. We're really lucky to be living in the time, because you and I remember, I'm sure we were young enough to remember people standing there going through the garbage and throwing it side to side to side to side to side. Well, nobody wants to pay those employees anymore. And it's really bad for your body because of standing, scooping, touching, all these type of things. So there's still recycle centers that will do that, but they're doing it on a much more controlled, because some people, once in a while, I know I have missed a glass bottle that got mixed in with the aluminum, and they're going side to side. But that now they take that recycle stuff and they take it right then and there. And I say, this is my aluminum. Oh, they caught the one glass I missed. And off it goes to those things. In a garbage situation, they're getting better and better and better at getting those sorting machines without people, because they don't want to pay those people because, and it is pretty hazardous. You'd have to imagine the gloves and the gear you'd have to wear just to be around everybody's germs. So it's getting better. It's not there, but they are separating things that especially weigh different. Glass and aluminum, simple to separate. There's a whole different weight thing from one can to one bottle. And that's how the machines choose. We are really, really fortunate to be in this technology age, because that is really how they put it on for so many minutes. They have it go for so many weights. They're looking at the paper plastic situation. They've got 3 little canals. You got the paper, you got the plastic, you got the aluminum. It is fabulous. We are making strides. Are we there? No, because where I believe, and I'm going to leave it at that, I believe we need to be is at the consumer. We need, because people in industries make changes when we demand it. When we demanded that the ecosystem be cared about, all of a sudden we've got huge corporations coming on board. Oh, we're climate friendly. It's everywhere. I'd like to know who's selling those stickers, but they're making a fortune. But we need to keep up on regulating and being those eyes and saying, wait a minute. So you're regulating this, but yet I just saw 900 packages go out with the worst kind of plastic wrapping, which you could have gotten biodegradable wrapping. Think about this in your purchases, because the money is the voice. Where we spend our money, that's where industry is going to go. Where we spend our money, they'll make changes. They want that industry. That is the whole part of consumerism. It's not a bad thing, a wrong thing, but it's our power key. So remember, next time you buy something, take a few seconds, Google it, and see what the company's doing, because they do have to keep track. And if they're doing great things, they want everybody to know. But it's also good for us to make sure that those people doing great things are still doing great things and not just talking about great things. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a corporation a huge corporation change because a 10-year-old did a science project and said they're killing the atmosphere, and it went viral on our wonderful YouTube's internet system. We have power now because we have a voice through these cameras and through these platforms.
Absolutely. And thanks for sharing that about the recycling process. I've got other questions as well. And I think it would be fun to have someone come on. Also, I was wondering, and this is a bigger topic as well. I noticed the last however many days that we were dealing with this air pollution. I'm in a place where there are a lot of birds, ton of seagulls and rabbits, believe it or not. And there were none to be seen or heard of. And I have to think to myself, they're out there all this time. And I wonder, do they somehow figure out, okay, we have to fly somewhere else. We got to get out of this area and go to another state. Not that they know state, but do they leave or where do they go?
They leave if they can. Let's see, what is it? Pigeons? I want to say it's pigeon. No, canaries. Do you remember canaries being used during the bomb years? I mean, you and I didn't exist, but you read a book. I'm sure you read a few books in your lifetime, probably 2 million. And what they put out for, atomic bombs, and they'd have the little canaries in the cages. And if the canary died, everybody said, oh yeah, out, get out. There's a leak in the mine. In mines, they had birds in cages, because if the oxygen went down and the bird died, you needed to have left. Oh. There are still these mechanisms of nature that will save our lives. The tree in our picture is so vital to me because you won't breathe unless your tree is healthy, unless the tree has leaves once in a while, and there is deciduous, that's fine. We have the ability now to bring these animals into our day-to-day work to be able to save our lives, but also to pre-warn us. So you've got birds who can do gas leaks and all that. You've got dogs who can feel quakes before they happen. We've got cats that do things. You got every animal knows what's going on this planet better than any scientist on this planet. So that's where we need to lean. That's why I'm encouraging people to say, if you are caring for your wild birds around, or you're giving them habitat space by not trimming your tree maybe as short or as tight as you would have liked because they have a nest there or they love to nest there, this is coexisting, because they're going to give back not only in love and Tweeties and babies and eating all the weeds that you could possibly get them to eat, or whatever animal you need for that. But they're going to also tell you there's a gas leak. There is a dangerous situation somewhere. Pay attention. If the wildlife in your area starts acting weird, find out why. And that's Fish and Wildlife. That is your local city hall. Get their number and find out who to talk to. More and more cities are getting professionals in animals and nature so that we can preempt a lot of this. Because all of these years of stacks coming out of smoke, we didn't put anything on factories for decades. And you see pictures of these men coming out of mines and they're just covered in black soot. They had hundreds and millions of them die from all kinds of contact diseases. We should know better how to do better. But my first suggestion, watch your animals. Watch your animals. I can't tell you enough, Dr. John, how many times I've coached a family. They're like, I live in this apartment and it's always busy and nervous. I never know if people are coming to my place. I said, I know what you're talking about. I said, look at the cat. They're like, what? Why would I look at the cat? I said, if the cat stays asleep, but just tips its ears, that person's walking by your house, by your door, by your apartment. If they open their eyes, the person's coming to your door. Done. Animals are that literally communicative. You just need to know the language. And that's what we've been doing here, Teaching language so you can talk to your pets at a higher level.
And it's 120 episodes we have been together, which people can do the math on how many weeks are in a year. So it's been an incredible time. We've got more topics to talk about. And I think we're going to, if you're open to, we'll bring some guests on, some experts, so that we can talk about some of these topics. What would you like to say as we close out for today?
I would love everybody to, this message is for somebody specific. If most of you know, I'm a pet psychic, it's in the title. So my guide has told me that somebody is listening and watching this, and there's no time limit on when or where, but I'm talking to all of you who are struggling with your pets. Take a deep breath, hug them gently and tightly, and let them lick your face if that's what they love doing. But understand they have something to teach you and so much love to give you. So give yourself some grace and sit down and relax and watch them communicate with you. And you'll get it. Just practice over and over. What happens when I do this? What happens when you do this? If you are somebody who loves to roughhouse, don't. There's a dog out there saying, please, please, please don't. I don't like my tail pulled. I don't like my ear pulled. It's not fun. Don't let your children do it. Don't let your friends do it. Don't let your company do it. Your dog is suffering. And then for those with the exotic pets, make sure they have time with you and they don't just live in a cage. There's a ferret out there right now that's asking to run around and have fun. Get a cat tree, let them run around. But having them in a cage full time is jail. So remember that. All animals need love. They need to be understood by what and who they are and what environment they should have been living in if they were wild. And then try to duplicate that the best you can. Be kind with yourself, but make steps forward, please.
Beautiful message, very empowering. Thank you very much. And for people who want to reach out to you, I just called right before the show. I love your message. I don't think I've heard it before, but you make it very easy for people to work with you. Do you want to share that information?
Yes. Best way to get a hold of me is bridgingworlds.us, which is my website. And so my email is there, contact all about me. And again, it is bridgingworlds.us. And of course, you can get to know me with all the YouTube. We have a plethora of things here. And my Facebook page is free to learn all of the things I put there for free to help move everybody forward. But if you contact me, go to bridgingworlds.us.
Thank you very much, Amina. And I just want to welcome everyone who's joining us for the first time, whether it's live or on the replay. We have approximately 40 different shows that people can pick from to be a guest on. And of course, we want to hear your story. So please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com. Book your session, and we'd love to have you and support your work. You can find all of our shows on all the major social media platforms. I like to spend my time over on YouTube because they give us real, authentic information. We have recently crossed over 103,000 views in 28 days, and we're very close to 20,000 subscribers. This has happened in a very short time. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for your likes and thanks for your comments. And we'll see you again Monday when we come back. Pet Psychic and I will be back together on Friday. Thanks again. Bye, everyone. Bye, Amina. Bye.